Hi, I'm Savannah Tallbear. I am a citizen of the Kaw Nation of Oklahoma and a Cheyenne and Oglala Lakota multidisciplinary artist, born and raised in OKC. I'm now operating out of Moore, and currently I work with the Thunder for the last 2 seasons, so I do a lot. So I went to school for a while, realized that wasn't for me, and then I tried hair school, and I think it was probably the color theory that really has interested me in that for so long. But then eventually I got burnt out on that too, and towards the end of it I had done one of those paint and sip classes, and just doing that and not having my own concept and not having to be perfect. It was an abstract class. It kind of just sparked my will to start creating again. I had done art all through my high school years, and then I just took a break when I went to OU. And so I just kind of circled back, and then as I got more and more burnt out on hair, I decided I was going to make a run for it. And so I did, and now here I am 5 years later. So I think it influences my art in a lot of different ways. I think the color portion, orange and blue, you're probably going to find in every single one of my paintings, unless I've ventured into my red and black composition area. But I think with my typical color scheme, it reminds me of like how vibrant my culture can be. You know, we have our powwows and our regalia, and even in certain clothes practices, there's, you know, colors and everything. Our food, we're a vibrant people, and people might not always be my subject matter, but it's visually pleasing to me to get to see that vibrancy in my own work, and also be able to relate it back to what I see when I'm, you know, around my people. I think a lot of the subject matter too, obviously, you know, we have like a reverence for our animal kin. And I think if how this country had progressed was different, we'd see a lot more animals. And so it's kind of that indigenous futurism, like what could have been, what could I have seen? And so just imagining that. And also there's little details that, unless you're from my tribe or been to my homelands or things like that, you probably won't get, but it's still there for me, because yes, art is meant to be seen, but I am at the end of the day still making it for myself. So lots of things. So I think the point when I realize that I'm kind of getting out there, it's anytime someone mentions that they've seen something from the Thunder, or, you know, they're going specifically to Skydance to get my artwork on the beer. But even still, I'm surprised by that every time. And that's probably just my ADHD. Every time I do a project and I finish it, I am pleasantly surprised by how much I like it. And I think that, for me, whenever I finish a painting and like being that satisfied with it, is like my personal, I've made it, because I know where I started. And like, if you look at the art behind me, you can see the difference from art in high school to art now. But there are still those moments where people are like, oh my gosh, no, I had a poster, or I, you know, got a can, or I really wanted one of those jerseys. And it's just like, okay. So I don't want to act like I'm the most humble, but I think I'm continually surprised, and don't know if I will ever truly feel that I've made it. But I I appreciate it nonetheless whenever those little moments happen, and it's like, oh no, wow, like your hard work is paying off, and like perseverance, even if I can't necessarily like grasp it for myself, because I'm always so like in the art and like in the project. So I don't know that there's one particular moment, but lots of little small ones that make me feel gratitude for hanging in there. So the mural was, I'm not gonna say it was rushed, but there was a quick turnaround on it, and I knew I needed to have it done by a certain point, and I knew I wanted to do a bear just because I love doing bears and hadn't in a while, but it happened to work out that that week was a very rough week for me and like family, and so when I was painting that, I was just like, for me, like bears, my family, and so I wanted some strength, and I was just using the mural to like kind of get through the week. Like I can go stand out in the sun and make this beautiful piece of art and be sweating my butt off, and maybe dying a little bit, but making something that's beautiful. And you know, I hope that it portrays strength. It took strength for me to finish it, and I think, you know, bears are powerful, and so maybe I got a little strength from it doing it. And happiness. I think all my colors are like striking and vivid, but I want them to be that way so that even if the background's dark, you know, you still have that point of light and something beautiful to see. And so I hope people get strength and happiness. So I have a couple personal favorites of my own, for sentimental reasons for both of them. The actual first mural I ever did was in El Reno, and it was prior to the New Year's Eve mural contest I did, like maybe a month before. So it was my first ever mural I did. It was in El Reno, and that just so happens to be where my tribe is located. So that felt extra special to always have just that little piece of me out there, even if I don't live there. It's not far, but it's nice. And you know, my family that's out there can see it, and it's a cute way to connect with them too. I saw you when I went to get coffee. Little things like that. And then my second favorite that is not a mural would have to be the piece that I'm putting into my show coming up. I'm not really a portraiture person, but the prompt for the show, I felt like I had to make this piece, and it's of my grandma and I, and she's been gone for almost 10 years now. So she never got to see any of this that I'm doing now. So I wanted to have something of her if she were healthy and here with me now. So I made a piece with one of the most like recent pictures of her before she had passed, but when she was still healthy. And then me, one of my most recent photos, and I just put us together and then painted that just so I could have my own keepsake. And I think it meant more just because I was able to do justice to her and be able to look at her whenever I wanted, not just in a photo, but us together. So, what to look for next? Like I said, I have an upcoming show at Red Earth. It starts July 10th, 7th. I will have the correct information to you at the end of this. But it's opening next week, and the piece my grandma and I will be in that. And then I'm doing a beadwork collaboration with photographer Brian Pearson. So I am beading an entire canvas of his photography, Buffalo, of course. And then OU kickoff day, I will be live painting on Campus Corner. So a couple opportunities to see me here pretty soon. If I had one piece of advice for any artist, it's always going to be don't give up. And I know that sounds cheesy, but I think all of us all the time probably think about giving up, because being an artist is not steady. We always have ups and downs. And so, you know, your ups feel awesome, and you can make your lows feel even worse, because it's like, is it dead out here? Is it just me? But don't give up. Even if you don't feel like you're accomplishing anything, your work is constantly getting, I don't want to say better because art's subjective, but it's getting more towards what you want it to be. And I think that's the goal. And if you persevere and stay true to what you want to make, the correct opportunities are going to find you, and you never know what's going to happen. So just keep doing what you do, stick to it. Sometimes it's going to be hard, but we got this. We're creative and imaginative, and I think we are probably our own worst enemies when it comes to going on. So just like, don't listen to yourself and just keep creating. I'm Savannah Tallbear. Thanks for getting to know me. You can find me at Bears Will Kill You, and you can come find my mural at Norman Firehouse.